Roughly 5 times more methane is coming from flares in the US than currently accounted for in any inventory. It's been thought that flares pretty much stay lit all the time, and it's been pretty much assumed that all flares operate with at least 98% efficiency, which is to say that at least 98% of the methane that goes into that pipe that's then combusted is combusted into CO2. And now we have a study where rather than just looking at 10 or 30 or 50 flares, we've looked at hundreds of flares, and instead of being 98%, on average, it's about 91% efficient. And that difference is roughly half because of unlit flares and half because of inefficient combustion in the flares. We realized that with some of the airborne methods we had developed doing some oil and gas studies, we could actually sample flares from aircraft in real time in a real world environment. And with the airplane, we could go and we can sample not just 1 or 2 flares repeatedly, but we could go and sample many dozens to hundreds of flares across an oil and gas basin.
So a flight team will go out with an aircraft instrument and with these sensors, and they'll go out to flares that they can identify from the air, and they'll sample downwind of those flares, measuring in situ the methane and carbon dioxide and other gases that are coming directly off these flares.
With that, we can generate a distribution of combustion efficiencies, and we can do this for every basin, and we can actually see, do we see a heavy tail distribution where there's not a large number of flares that are performing really poorly, but they perform so poorly that it actually drags the total efficiency down really low. And then the other thing is just how often flares seem to be unlit. And if it's unlit, the combustion efficiency is 0, right? It's just vented straight to the atmosphere.
This appears to be a source of methane emissions that seems quite addressable.
If all the flares in the US were brought up to 98% efficiency, that would be the equivalent of removing almost 3 million cars from the roads. It has a pretty big climate impact.